Welcome to the Zach Stack. I'm Zach.
I'm Zach.
And this is episode 1 of How to Win with AI in 2026.
In this video, you'll learn how to set up the Claude browser as a Chrome extension and use Claude in your browser. We're also going to talk about how we're going to edit long-form videos autonomously. And if you stick around until the end, you'll learn our personal 2025 takeaways.
And before we get into the video, for some context, the Zach Stack is going to be a weekly show with Zach Lloyd and myself, where we're just learning in the open so that others in the Vibe marketer community and on YouTube, LinkedIn, or wherever you're coming across this video can learn from our failures, from our successes, and hopefully just find some practical ways to apply AI to your daily life, to your workflows, so that you can supercharge your output. Let's get into the video.
Okay, so Zach, we already recorded this episode and we didn't record it. So we're doing it over again. So again, starting and doing things is hard, but we're just going to power through. All right.
We are.
Catch me up on last week.
Yeah, definitely. So since we last spoke, Zach, I know you came across my YouTube video, but I've dove deeply into the Claude Browser Extension, which you're going to show us here in a couple of minutes. So I've looked at some potential use cases of how we can be using it as digital marketers. The use case that I did, I won't talk about it too much because I went and recorded a 15-minute video about it. But I found a way to, every day at 6 a.m., I created a task where it goes and it looks at certain influencers on Twitter. It goes and looks at the Skool community, the Vibe marketers community. It looks at every single channel. And over the past 24 hours, essentially, I get sent this email of here's what everyone's talking about in the AI space. And here are some tools that you should maybe look into. So that way, it's just a way for me to stay at the edge of all these AI tools and try to sift through the noise a little bit without having to just manually do a lot of scrolling on X and just making sure that I don't miss anything in the Skool community. And so, yeah, that's like a lot of what I've been up to. And then furthermore, I've also looked into Apify a little bit. So I use Apify. If you aren't familiar with what Apify is, it's a data scraper that essentially can do everything I just described. It can pull posts from X. It can pull posts from Twitter. It's the engine to my N8N lead list builder. I have another YouTube video on that, but essentially it can pull data from Google Maps. Anywhere there is data, Apify has an API key that you can go and extract data from. So I built a lot of cool end-to-end workflows with that and messed around with that a little bit more to build out an X social listening workflow for one of my clients where we're monitoring influencers, we're monitoring search terms every single day. And then it sends them an email with important tweets that they, as a brand, as a company, should potentially go and engage with. That'd be good for their brand just to get their noise out there. So that's a little bit about what I've been up to in a crunch. Like Zach said, we already recorded this video. I went a little bit deeper in depth the first time, but that's kind of an executive summary. I'm going to throw it back to you, Zach. Zach, what have you been up to since we last spoke?
Yeah, that's a good summary, and I highly recommend the video, so go check that out. We'll have it in the description below. So I have been super busy with life among all the holiday stuff, but I had 2 cars break down, and then there's been flu in the house, and you can still tell I'm super congested. So that's a lot of excuses. But essentially, I didn't get anything major built this week. So my big homework assignment this next week is going to be creating a long-form video automation where we can make these podcasts or our YouTube videos. And once it's done being produced, then we can throw it into AI and have it automatically cut the long-form video and then keep the long-form video. So we don't have to spend 2 hours editing it over and over and over again. So that'll be my big homework assignment. How I'm thinking about doing that is I will go search the market as it is, Descript and what was the other one I mentioned?
Descript Opus clips?
Opus, thank you. I actually use Opus, not Descript, so I forgot that one's funny. And then you were mentioning Supercut AI, which I heard about, but I hadn't used. So I will check that out as well. And so how I'm going to prompt AI to start will be, I'm going to use Claudia. And I'm going to first check the market, see what's out there, see what people are recommending on different social medias, and then make sure that it applies to long form because there's a lot of short form stuff, but not as much long form stuff. If I find anything, I will make sure the AI goes into those documents and reads all of their information on how they're doing the automations from their end and best practices, all of that stuff. And then I'll say, okay, this is all in /plan mode, by the way, in Claudia. And then I will reiterate that plan 3, 4, 5 times, if not more times, to make sure that I really have the plan dialed in before I let it loose and start building the app. I've used some Python automations before with some video things, so I'm assuming that's where it's going to go, but I'm not 100% sure. I have not looked into it at all, so next week will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited to check back in with that update. And quickly, I guess my homework, because I don't know if I shared that or not, is I'm going to be helping out a friend of mine. Yeah, he owns a lead gen agency, so I'm going to be doing some work for him. And I think what I want to research in the meantime is I'm going to manually research, but obviously use some Perplexity, deep search as well, and Firecrawl to find some winning LinkedIn growth strategies to grow accounts organically and use LinkedIn as a channel to grow your business and get clients. And then maybe generate some LinkedIn skills of maybe like a post writer. I know James is Content Pack. He has the content atomizer skill, which repurposes some piece of content into a LinkedIn carousel post, X post, TikTok scripts, all these different things. I'm going to first look and do really well that get hundreds of comments on it and that serve as lead magnets. What is their copywriting formula? What are tools and tricks that they're using? Maybe they're doing some like paid ads as well. Look into that, but then just find ways to almost automate that process and ensure really high quality to help him grow on LinkedIn. So I won't have any results next week, but I will have hopefully some like skills that I've built out, and we can go through live, like showcasing some of those LinkedIn posts that it can come up with. So that's going to be what I'll bring back to the table. So next week's going to be a cool week, man. We can have some.
Yeah, I'm stoked about that. The LinkedIn stuff, like LinkedIn's like LinkedIn and TikTok are probably like the two big ones that I really don't know much about, that I barely ever use. I've actually never downloaded TikTok at all.
That's I would put that on the resume. That's impressive.
Yeah. So I need to check that out. So I'm excited for that one. So today though, let's jump into the Claude Chrome extension that just got released over the last couple of weeks. People are starting to use. Just want to show you how to get it installed on Chrome. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So highly recommend. We'll put this link in the description as well, but make sure when you're downloading extensions, you're downloading the right one from the right place, because there's so many copycats out there. It's a great way to get a virus. So I just did a Google search, Claude Browser Chrome, and I'm going to support.claude.com. So here is how they're getting started. And you scroll down and they'll give you the link to the Chrome Web Store. Clicking on that, verifying that it's the Anthropic checkmark for Claude. And then I just installed it. So this would be your button to install it. And then it'll be up here in your extensions and you can add it, click it, and there it is. Now, we discussed as well, how do you get this connected to your terminal? So you're going to need to close out of Chrome first, which I can't do because we're doing the video. But let me pull up terminal. And we said you will type in Claude or your alias. I have an alias. --. And then you said Chrome, right?
Chrome, correct.
Chrome. Yeah. And then type in Chrome, hit go. And then Chrome extension is not detected because I haven't restarted my browser yet. But if you restart your browser, it should work fine. And then you're good to go.
Good to go. Yeah. And we talked
anything else on that, Zach?
Well, I was just going to briefly touch on some use cases that I have beyond like kind of the social listening, some use cases I've seen other people use the Claude browser extension out of Chrome where I think it's really valuable, right? Is say you have like the core MCPs, you have Perplexity, Firecrawl, all this type of stuff. So say you want to do content research, for example, you can do all of this from the terminal line. You come up with maybe content ideas, hooks, all based off real data and what like your APIs are fetching from X and from LinkedIn, like what's working. You have all this data. You generate content ideas using your skills out of the terminal. And then you can use the Chrome browser extension all from the command line to go and maybe add all that data and build like a Google sheet that is a content calendar for you. That's just one example, but like you don't even have to open Chrome manually. You can tell Claude Code to go and do that with the Claude browser extension, the Claudia browser extension,
yes,
which is exciting. So I haven't dove into that too deeply, but I know that is for a fact some use cases some people have been doing with it. I also think real quick, it's going to be useful for UI. So if you want to test UI in real time, and say you're vibe coding a website and designing it, you can say, all right, like go use the Chrome browser extension to check out what the website looks like. And you could build out a skill to evaluate the UI of your website. But it's going to use the Chrome browser extension to do that in real time, which has never been done before. Like I remember just a month or two ago, I was designing a website and I had to like obviously manually screenshot it and upload it into Claude. So it's nice that the Claude browser extension does that for you now. It's some pretty exciting times, and it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. These are some very premature use cases.
Yeah, it's super cool. And like I've used Playwright a lot, but Playwright doesn't always work the way I want it to. And so I think this is going to be a lot better with the Claude browser, especially the fact that you can go through Skool.com, I think is a huge one as well. Because I was having a hard time scraping Skool.com. A couple times I was trying to, because I was starting a group and I was trying to scrape my own group, and it was not liking it at all. So that's already a huge use case for me specifically. But I would argue everybody, because Skool is so new and it just is like literally an S curve of adoption right now.
Yeah.
That it's going to be the place for newer trends to be starting, because if you see a group that just starts out and then starts trending, then there's something there. And it's kind of like searching a Reddit forum and like seeing, all right, we got 100 people talking about this thing in Reddit. Like, I think Skool will be one of those big signals.
Yes.
So that's super exciting as well.
It is. And this is a community member posted this. He had Gemini, and I don't know if you saw his post, Zach, but he had Gemini create like an 11-page Google Doc report. I'm just going to pull it up. I'll share my screen real quick.
Let's see it.
Okay. Yeah. So he did a Google deep research into opportunities and strategies around skills, agents, and MCPs for 2025. So yeah, he did some Google deep research into kind of where the opportunity lies. And something that he talked about, I'll stop sharing because I just wanted to shout this out real quick. That was a really, really interesting read. But something he talked about is like there's going to be this marketplace almost for MCPs. So I don't know if there's a Skool MCP yet, but like that's a massive opportunity. If someone goes and builds an MCP to communicate with Skool, and maybe you are a Skool community owner, or maybe you're just in a Skool community, but like that is a wealth of information that I think like there's a real opportunity there. I'll look into it, but if someone else has the time and know about to like build a Skool MCP, or if it's even possible yet, I don't know. But like that is an opportunity in 2026 is like tools that don't have MCPs. You could totally create an MCP marketplace in a sense.
100%. I did see that post and I thought it was interesting. I thought it was crazy too that I didn't talk to James at all before I did my mentorship session. And then he literally was doing the skills sale the day before. I think it was Monday. And then I went on Tuesday. I thought that was hilarious because that's like all the stuff I built out was skills. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even think about that. Like, this is a thing. I think that's what's also going to be really special with the MCPs, the agents, the skills, is the more you can fine tune it to something in your niche with all of what you know about your niche, it'll be special to you in that way. Yeah. And I think that's going to be valuable, right? It's kind of like if I could buy a Brad Pitt skill set for acting.
Exactly, dude.
Right?
Yes.
I would buy that from Brad Pitt. I wouldn't buy it from anybody else, right? Because he's Brad Pitt.
And only Brad Pitt has the knowledge to know what makes Brad Pitt Brad Pitt. That is one thing I think that like obviously we're in the era of there's so much AI slop. There's a lot of, I think the Vibe marketers community we're at the forefront of like really eliminating AI slop in a sense, but you still need to know like what does good look like. Yes. And if you don't understand copywriting yourself, you're not going to know if like you build a copywriting skill, if it's good or not. You know, you're going to just probably convince yourself it's good after the first try. But like James, someone that is, and I've only talked to James like one-on-one once before, but I know James has years of experience in marketing before AI. Like he had to manually learn all that stuff. He knows what good looks like. And it still took him, I think, a total of like 8 or 9 hours to dial in all 10 of those skills, which is pretty crazy. So just, I guess, let this be like a warning or a reminder that you probably need to always iterate on your skills. And like, you still need to know what good looks like for whatever the skill is that you're doing. Like learn how to do the thing first before you make the skill.
100%. Yeah. Well said. Well said. And then let's rock and roll with what we kind of learned from 2025 and what we're going to change. So the 2 big questions were, what did you change your mind on? And then what worked really well?
Yeah, so I'll start here. What worked really, really well for me. So I've been in the Vibe marketers community since end of April, early May. So for about like 7 months, 8 months or so. And I think what like 2025, what allowed me to like learn as much as I did and have as many like opportunities come my way was just this constant state of curiosity, being constantly curious. And also like part of that, I think, is a growth mindset of AI. It can be intimidating. I do not know how to code. I still don't know how to code, but I've built some pretty cool things with AI, and kind of like just realize that if all these other people are learning it online, that I could too. And so just like diving into that, dedicating time literally every single day to go and learn about like what people are doing that's working and how I can apply that to my life. That was a big driver for me. I'll throw that question back to you, and then we can each answer something we changed our minds on. But I'll throw that question back at you.
Yeah, the curiosity one's so good. And it's one of those like things too that people say, but they don't really engage in. And that's where it hit home for me was this last year. I really used my curiosity, learning new things. And most of the time I would waste it and not share it. And this year I didn't waste it. I did share it. And then I just kept playing around with it. And that made a huge, huge change in my life and my business life. That's how you and I met. That's how I got to do a mentor session for the Vibe marketing community. So it's not wasting the curiosity, but using it for me. That was the big takeaway for me that worked really well.
Yeah, I love that. And I think, I mean, similarly, I've met some pretty amazing people, like just in the past, like 2-3 months, all from putting myself out there. And that's the whole point of like the Zach Stack, and this like weekly videos. We just want to learn in the open. We're going to fail. We're going to hopefully have some wins here and there. But just really be real with you guys about like what we're learning with AI. And so hopefully you guys watch these episodes with some open hearts. No, we're not going to be perfect, but we're gonna share and everything we're learning.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What did you change your mind on?
Yeah. So what I changed my mind on in 2025. So I like changed my mind twice. I guess you could say. Like when I first got into the Vibe marketers community, N8N was kind of the main thing, is how to build N8N workflows and N8N use cases for marketing. That quickly, like as the middle of summer approached, Claude Code was really emerging. And it was kind of like the next really big thing, Cursor, right? And I started to drift away from N8N because I remember James talking about how N8N really was like going to be like almost useless in a sense. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he was talking about how like with Claude Code, the need for a tool like N8N is like becoming more and more just you don't need it. So I stopped using N8N almost altogether. And as like the past couple of months, I have a couple of automation clients where like I do some social listening for AI, SEO, and just marketing insights as a whole. But N8N has been really valuable for me because it's almost like I build it once and I can forget about it. I know it's going to run every single week. Like I don't have to manually open Claude Code and trigger all these MCPs. I can just build a workflow once and it's passive. It's going to do it for me. So that has been a tool I've gone back to. I definitely changed my mind on it, but it's going to be a central part of my tech stack for, I don't know, all of 2026. I mean, we'll see. I know you mentioned that they just came out with N8N like 2.0, but yeah, that's a tool. And that's more of an AI tool, but Zach, I'll throw that question back at you. What's something you changed your mind on in 2025?
Yeah, that's really good. I agree too. N8N is just still very valuable and very useful. Yeah, so I changed my mind, I think, on the belief of being an ambitious person and wanting to do more. I decided that, I would spend less time seeking out relationships with friends. And I had a couple of friends that had some big things to wrestle with. One of them was with a marriage, and then the other one was with a spouse having major like pain issues and how that affected their life. And so I was able to come in as a friend, and I just realized how valuable it is to keep those friends close. And in this case, I was helping them by being there for them, but it's going to be reciprocal eventually, and I'll need it as well. And I think I just let my friendships slide a little too far, and I realized that this last year. So this year I changed my mind on people are way more important than I wanted to give them credit to. And it's not just about my family. It's also about friendships and the people on the street. And I need to remember that and not lose sight of that. And so by next year, I hope to have spent a lot more time with friends. And it doesn't mean that I have to go spend hours with them, because I think about that in my head. Like, I'm not going to call this person because I don't have 2 hours or 3 hours to go meet them somewhere. but I can call them and just say, hey, how you doing? And make it super simple. And so that's something I definitely changed my mind on, and I want to do better on in this next year.
Yeah, I would agree. I was listening to, not to like go away from AI for a second, but like I think this is important because like AI will talk, so they are like afraid like AI is just going to replace human connection. Human connection isn't going anywhere. But that's like a really interesting concept of keeping like almost between the quality of time spent with friends versus the quantity of time spent with friends. Like I'd much rather have like a relationship where if I see my friends once or twice a year, but like that quality is there, even if it's just a really quality 5-minute phone call, like you said. That's something I've got to work on in 2026, and that'll be a main focus. So thanks for sharing that and for being vulnerable and open
well said.
Anything else, Zach, that you want to hit on before we wrap it up? I'm
just stoked to get back to building this week. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do this thing. 2026 is, I mean, by the time we posted this, it'll probably already be 2026, but
that's right.
It's going to be a very exciting year. And I mean, wouldn't want to be in a community with any other group of people. By marketers is incredible. And I think 2026 is going to be its best year yet.
Definitely. It's the world of possibility. Happy New Year.
Yeah. And furthermore too, something Zach and I think want to do eventually is like bring on some people and some guests to do live walkthroughs where we can, maybe you guys can teach us something. We can maybe teach you something and just look at like, if you have a use case or something you want to build, don't know where to start. We'd love to have you on. And if you guys don't mind, just make a video about walking through, helping you guys out and building specific workflows, use cases, things like that. It's something Zach and I would both enjoy. So feel free to hit us up if that piques your interest.
Yeah. Drop it in the comments below. Tell us what you're struggling with, and then we'll bring you on. We'll rock and roll together. We'll struggle together.
Let's do this thing. The struggle bus, baby.